Uh, Not the outcome or the performance that I was hoping for. Um, as a coach and as a competitor, I expect to win every game, whether or not on paper that's how it's supposed to happen. So I'm just pretty much disappointed with our effort in the first, second, and I'd probably say the first half mostly, and a little bit of the fourth quarter. Um, I just felt like we weren't ready to go today, and that was disappointing to see, especially after our performance against UMass the other day, and how I thought we came out prepared against Cornell and UMass our last couple of games. So just disappointed in our effort in the beginning.
In the late moments of the game, I mean, unfortunately, the last few games haven't necessarily gone in your favor, but having the grit to fight for through the 40 minutes and towards the end shows a lot of tenacity with the team. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. To be honest, the fight is great. And I told them in the locker room after the game, I want 4 complete minutes of fight. Myself as a player, I was gritty, I was tough, I got after it. So anybody that is a part of our program, as a part of our family, as a part of our staff, that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have that grittiness, we're gonna have that fight, and we're gonna have that tenacity, because that's how I was as a coach. And as I think most people know, your team is a reflection of the head coach for the most part. So I think we're learning to be more gritty. I think we just have to be more consistent with it. But the fight is there. It's always there. Whether or not it peaks for 4 quarters is another thing. But we will continue to fight, and we'll come out on Saturday versus Yale, and we'll be scrappy, and we'll be ready to fight, and we'll be ready to defend again.
Well, the team did trail throughout that first half and throughout the game. The third quarter did show the most promise for you guys, 53% shooting from the field. Did that boil down to better shot selection or movement off the ball? What are your thoughts on it?
I think it boiled down to our defense. I think when we are locked in defensively, our offense is going to flow. So I think we had a couple of steals in that stretch. I think we were a little bit more physical. I think we were where we were supposed to be defensively. And because of that, we got out and we ran. So we always talk about our defense as a reflection of our offense. So I think that's what you saw at the beginning of the third quarter.
Ginny Evans and Avery Finley combined for 31 points today. What's it like knowing that you have players like them who can come off the bench and contribute offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's Janai, by the way.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're perfectly fine. It's great to see those two come off the bench and provide us a bit of a spark. I think they've definitely accepted that role. It's something that they can do on a consistent, basis. They're both lefties, which is a lot of fun to see as well. But just kind of knowing that we have an additional group of kids that can come off the bench and continue to keep our tenacity and our toughness at a high level, I think is good. So I think Janai and Ivory have been ready and willing and able to accept their role. And because they've accepted their role, when it's time to go, we look at them, we say, "Are you ready?" They say, "Yeah," and then they come out and they do their thing. So I'm proud of them tonight. I'm proud of their effort. I'm proud of their toughness and scrappiness, and just really looking forward to seeing their games continue to grow and blossom as we go on through this season.
Towson had the advantage when it came to rebounds today with 45 over the River Hawks with 36. Sometimes the ball just doesn't happen to bounce your way, but what are some things that you look to work on and maybe sway that number in your favor in the future?
Yeah, I think rebounding, much like defense, is comes down to like heart and determination. Every day in practice, every day in our goals, pregame, halftime, timeouts, we talk about rebounding and how important that is. And I think sometimes it just boils down to locking in and paying specific attention to that detail. And I think having to do it on back-to-back games, you have to have a lot of stamina for that. And I just think we just don't have that stamina yet. I think we did it at Cornell. I think we kind of did it at UMass. And then I think today we just were kind of like, ooh, that's, 3 horses back to back. So I think it just comes down to stamina, but we'll get back in the gym, we'll reinforce it, we'll talk about it, we'll talk about different techniques. and then hopefully, we'll come out on Saturday and we'll be ready to go. But it is an emphasis that we talk about, and part of our game goals has something to do with rebounding, whether it's we want to break even, whether we want to be +2. We try to pay attention to that, and we try to bring that to the forefront at every media timeout.
Something you guys took advantage of today was opponent positioning. 25 times you guys were able to get to the line thanks to fouls. Sometimes that's what it takes to get points on the board. Is that something that you might have worked on in practice?
We definitely work on free throws every day in practice, all throughout. We just talk about making strong attacks to the basket and getting foul calls, making the refs have to call the foul because we are attacking in an aggressive and in a strong manner. I think sometimes when we don't get to the free throw line a lot, it's because we don't attack hard, and we kind of finish a little weak. So I think when we attack the basket hard and we make strong moves, we give the referees no other decision but to have to call those fouls.
And the trip is against Yale is coming up next for you guys. What do you think is going to be the point of focus for you as you prepare for that?
I think we just have to be disciplined. I think today we saw when we are undisciplined what happens, and I think we also saw when we are disciplined and we listen and we pay attention to detail what can happen as well, specifically in that third quarter. We defended, we ran our offenses, we got what we wanted out of our offense, and we scored. So I think the more disciplined that we can be collectively for 4 complete quarters, for 40+ minutes, the better off we'll be. But until we can be disciplined on a consistent basis, you're going to see some up and down from us as well. So we'll continue to talk about consistency. We'll continue to talk about being disciplined. We'll continue to talk about, playing at our own tempo. And then we'll just look forward to growing and getting better every game.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
No problem.